Welcome to the coffee shop, everybody. This is your host and barista, and I am going to show you today the power of the MassEfx Moving Average. This video is going to be a long one, so make sure you like the video right now. Then hit that subscribe button. Do that just for me because, you know, I'm a nice guy. And yeah, watch this video all the way to the end because you're going to see how the MassEfx Moving Average can predict the market. What up, guys, and welcome to the coffee shop. Let me just start out by jumping onto this little bit of sideline news, right? Okay, so yes, there were many of you that tried to get the MassEfx Moving Average because you saw the video late, and TradingView did take it down, but I am not mad at TradingView. What I understand is that the MassEfx Moving Average is a highly technical indicator, and it offers so much to the public that the description and setup at the what do you call it? The write-up for it has to be more detailed. It has to be done in a specific way that TradingView wants. So I am more than happy to do whatever it takes to make sure that TradingView gets it listed and that they are approving of the way that it gets written. Okay, so yes, I listed it. It takes them time to actually catch up to it, and then they delisted it. That's fine. Many of you did get your copies. I noticed like many of you got your, I think, let me see. How many people got this thing? MassEfx Moving Average. Boosted the script. Nope. Boosted the script. I want to know. Oh, here we go. Okay. Commented at a script. 157 people in 12 hours got the MassEfx Moving Average. Those are just the ones that boosted it. I'm sure many people went in and got the script, but you did not boost it. So what I would implore you to do is go in and boost the script again once it gets listed. Always hit that boost button because it helps push the indicator to the forefront pages of TradingView. All right, puts it right up there on the popular editor's pick and all that stuff. So, yes, the MassEfx Moving Average, very technical, very detailed, and I understand what TradingView has in mind, and I will do whatever it takes to make sure that they get it listed properly. Okay, so now let's get into what this video is about. And this video is basically, you know, it's a quick little thing for you, and it is what are these delta zones, right there? What are these delta zones? Like, you guys want to know what they are. What are they relative to? You can see what price has done after they've reached these zones, but you want to know what price is going to do when they reach these zones. So what are they relevant for, right? Let me lock that. Okay, so these delta areas, I'm calling them delta. That's not exactly what they are, but I'm going to call them delta because it's kind of the same thing. So hang on, we got to do the thing. Hang on, got to have your cup of tea, right? Hang on. So these delta zones are these high areas of resistance and support. Okay, now their colors are irrelevant. I just gave them different colors so that you can understand which one is above the other. Now, you want your green delta zone to be above your red delta zone. If it is ever reversed, okay, if it's in reverse, stay away from that. Okay, flat out stay away from that. That is massive market manipulation. Okay, I'm telling you, that is when the big money algos are manipulating the market, and you will lose. The best traders will lose. Okay, now if the delta zones are on top of each other, overlapping in any way, shape, or form, okay, doesn't matter how they're overlapping. If they are overlapping, you stay away. Do not trade. You wait until they move away from each other. Even if a little bit, they have to not be touching each other. Okay, that's it. So that's essentially that. So what's happening is here, in between the delta zones, you want to be looking for your longs and your shorts. If your zones are really close to each other, well, you don't have any longs or shorts, right? There's no room to trade. So that tells you essentially the width of your range. Market is always in a range. It just depends on how big is the range. Now, there's a couple of different types of ranges. So first, let me tell you about what happens here. Let's start from the top and work our way down, okay? So I'm gonna take this little thing here. Now, let's say that price is moving along, right? Doing whatever it's got to do, gets inside the range, and all of a sudden it breaks out of the range, does its thing, and it continues to the upside. Do not treat this like a regular support level. For the love of God, do not. If you see price break out of it, bounce off of it, and retest and start moving to the upside, you start looking for divergences, period. That's it. Just start looking for a divergence. If you get a high and then you get another high, higher than the previous one, okay? You see some wick sticking out above that one, like this would be the same high. This would be a higher high, right? High and a lower high, right? You immediately look at your RSI and look for a divergence. Or you look at your volume and you look for a divergence. Look at your MACD and look for a divergence. It's going to be there, okay? Anything that takes place above this green delta, while the green delta is above the red delta, okay, is a divergence. The same rule applies for when price is doing whatever it's supposed to do and it breaks down below the red zone, okay, below this red zone, as long as the red zone is below the green zone, okay? This means there's been so much cascading move to the downside that price is going to start moving the other way, and you want to see it happen. Now, usually you can't see a divergence until it's already happened. But what I have done here is I've created an indicator that tells you exactly when you should start looking for one. So you don't have to wait for it to happen. You can actually stare at your RSI and watch it happen. Instead of seeing that it's happened in the past, you can watch it happen in the present. So on top of that, I've created an indicator that does 4 things that everybody needs, okay? It allows you to trade in the 4 basic forms of the market, right? You have an uptrending market, which takes place here, like moves up. You have a downtrending market, which takes place here, right? You have a range trading market, which takes place here. And you have a divergence trading market, which takes place here, which would be pullbacks, right? That'd be pullbacks. So if you get a divergence while you're down here, you're trading a pullback. All you're doing is trading back to that area. Here's your target. It's just laid out right in front of you, okay? Now, this is why TradingView has taken it offline, because this type of indicator, one single indicator, will allow you to trade, longs and shorts in an area. It allows you to trade ranges, and it allows you to trade bullish and bearish divergences, all on one indicator. And all it's doing is giving you a couple of lines and a couple of plots using calculations. It can't be simpler than that, right? So how do you know when you're trading ranges? Well, your price is inside your zone, okay? That's it. How do you know when you're trading longs and shorts? Well, you broke through your zone and your green zone is somewhere above your red zone. You're trading longs, right? Or you are somewhere in the green zone and you broke through heading this way. That way you know you're trading shorts, okay? So pretty simple, right? Now, let's talk about what happens in these delta areas when you approach them. Here, there we go. Now, I pulled up a section on the chart. I was looking for, oh, that's horrible, isn't it? That's just awful. You know what? Let's see what happens in this area. Let's just watch it happen. How about that? We'll just do that, okay? Let's go here, come down here. There we go. Now, you can see that these zones, hey, that's a nice little information right there. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about the updates, okay? You're gonna see these updates take place. I understand very well that it was a little difficult for you guys to see the trend lines on your charts. And my concern was what happens for some of you that are using a black background versus a white background, because you can do that TradingView, right? Not everybody uses the black background. I want you guys all to be able to see this. So while I was updating it, I want you to see what's going on here. Let me go to another area where there's two different delta zone areas, right? Let's try here. I should have two different ones here. Bloop. There. So now I've got a red one there. And where's my green one? I don't see it. There it is. Okay, so now you can see all the trend lines, right? You can see the delta area here and the delta area here. Now, what I was doing was this. Here we go. Now, you can change your trend lines, your delta support zone. Let's talk about the delta support zone. That's going to be the green one, delta support. I called it support just because I wanted to give it a color name. Support is usually green. Now, you can change the fill color and make it whatever color you want, okay? But the lines on the outside, I left them as green. You cannot chain the outside lines. You can't do it. You can change the fill so you can make it whatever you want so it doesn't disturb your view of your price, right? But the lines on the outside, I wanted to keep that green so that you always know your green one is above your red one or your green one is below your red one. Then you know you're in trouble or you're not in trouble. Same thing applies for the red one, okay? You can see it gets nice and thick or it gets transparent, whatever, okay? There you go. Now, what else were you guys having trouble with? You were having trouble with being able to see the trend lines themselves, okay? So I adjusted that as well. Now you can adjust it to whatever you want. I just made the green ones disappear, okay? Now you can make them reappear just by fading the color in and out, okay? And make it whatever, you know, transparency you want. You can also change the color of the support and resistance levels, right? So I'm making my resistance is now yellow or it's blue or whatever the case may be, right? I'll put it back to red. Now, the other thing you can do, which I didn't really agree with on the initial part of the code, was this. Perfect example here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 support lines. But if I'm over here, if I'm looking over here, how do I know what is my new support line? Is my support facing down or is my support facing up? I want to know the one that is nearest to my price. Okay, no problem. So some of you, oh, wait, hang on, let's do this. You also want your support lines to be thicker, right? There. Let's script catch up. Now they're thicker. A little bit thicker, good for you. Now you got 3 thickness. How about 4 thickness? Go like that, 4 thickness. Let's bring it down to 2. The other thing you can do is yours will start out as a solid line. Boop, there you go. But you still can't tell what your new support level is. What is it? Okay. You can see from a solid line to a dotted line and it's really not interrupting your price. Okay. I like the dashed line, right? I like using that, but I still want to know what is my nearest support level. Okay. I want the one that's making a low closest to my price. I'm using arrow left here. If you look, you'll see that there's now an arrow. Here's my price. Here's an arrow. Here's my price. Here's an arrow. Both of these lines are my new one. That means my new lines are pointing up. My old lines, here's an arrow, they're pointing down. So my old ones are kind of irrelevant. My new ones are pointing up right now. And let's switch back to a dashed line just because I like using it. There we go. Cool. I like that. It's a nice look. Anyway, so these volume delta red and delta green zones. Now, they really just need to be called volume delta. They don't have to be green or red. So when price starts curving the other way and it breaks through, so you can see that your red line, right, is your resistance, right? If price breaks through your resistance and you are below your red, you are most likely headed back to your red delta area. But you could be seeing that red delta area actually starts moving around. It will fade away and reappear somewhere else. Watch the red delta. I don't know if it's going to do it, but we're going to find out. There you go. It just changed. It moved down, which means you have more pressure to the downside now. And if I'm looking at my most recent support level, it's facing down. So I still have a continued move to the downside, right? And there. Now I've broken above my resistance line, my most recent resistance line. It looks like there's a lot going on here because behind the scenes, there is a lot going on. Now, I broke above my resistance level. I continued to break above it here, but I got a long wick sticking out at the top. It appears to me that this is going to continue moving back down. Where's it going to move to? Okay, well, here's my price, right? Here is my support level. I'm thinking the price is going to move right down to that level, and let's find out if it does. Moving forward, yep, immediately went right down to it. You were able to see a pullback without losing into it. And I haven't seen this before. I saw that I broke above, but I had a long wick sticking out the top, which means it's a bearish candle. So that's a push back down. Well, where's it pushing down to? Your support line. Support line. That's it. It's moving down to your support line. It's moving down to the very first line of interference that it's going to hit. And sure enough, that support line was in the same place as this delta. Now, support is pushing up. Your most recent one is pushing up. Your stop loss is green. You are above your delta. Well, I'm going to guess that you're going to be going to your what? Your nearest resistance line. Let's give that a shot. Here. Here. It's not truly a long trade that I should be taking right now because this is the issue. Let me do this real quick for you. Here is your, there we go. Here's your resistance line, and here is your support line, right? And you can see that they're dashed. I could change them to dashes, but we know what that looks like. When they're crossing over each other, like they are right here, they're crossing over each other, right? They're also crossing over each other here. They're crossing over. That means you are still in a bit of a range. Price is moving all over the place. If you want to take a long trade, you need them both pointing up, or you need them both pointing down for a short trade. Doesn't matter them being in a perfect channel or slightly askew, but if one's flat and the other one's pointing down, that's also not much of a move to the downside. You want them both to be pointing basically in the same direction. So I'm saying here, I want to take a move to the upside, but I've already crossed over. I've broken over my resistance. I am breaking up from underneath my support. I'm going to look backwards at my recent swing high right here. I'm going to take that level as an exit. Most people would. Now watch. This is how you get the trade better than the banks do. Most people would see this break and they would say, I'm going to trade back to my 200 period moving average or to this old resistance line. I don't think price is going there at all. I don't think price is going there. I think I'm still ranging really hard. So I'm going to use this new low that the market made for me, right? Made a new one for me. I'll go down to the support level that existed before, and I'm just going to catch this tiny move moving up. Let's see what happens. Next candle, I get a little pin right there. It's a rejection on top. Okay, maybe I should have pulled down just a little bit. Yeah, I probably should have pulled down just a little bit, like I just missed it. Let's see what happens if I continue forward. Yep, market is just taking liquidity out, just taking everybody's liquidity out. So did I get stopped out yet? No, I didn't get stopped out yet. Still not stopped out. Now I got stopped out. So that's the importance of using this the right way, okay? When your lines are crossing over each other, you're looking for your swing highs and swing lows. That's it. But if they're both pointing in the same direction, then that's when you move in that direction. Now, the other thing that I didn't notice because I was zoomed way in, I wasn't really paying attention, is look at this. I've got 1, 2, 3 resistance line. I've only got one support level above this. I've only got one support, so I don't have much support. There is not much stopping price from moving to the downside. So this is literally showing you everything that is in the way of you making proper trades, like all this stuff. If you want to count the supports below that entry here, you have 1 support, 2 support levels. That's it. But above it, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 resistance areas. So now delta has moved again. It moved lower. Your stop loss is going red. Your support line is tilted down. Your resistance line is tilted down, and it's crossing over it. So this is somewhat of a move to the downside. It's a lot of move to the downside. You're testing, so you test off of your delta. You're curved down right here. Here's your new move to the downside. This is an entry for a short position. I'm going to take this as my high. This is my entry because I broke below support. I'm going to take this down to, I'll take it down to here, right there. So here's my entry. Here's my exit. Here's my swing high above delta. Go. Right there. Catch the move. And I did that by looking at the number of support versus resistance and what side of delta I'm on. Remember, I said when you are below your red delta, while your green delta is above it, where is it? It's way up there, right? You can only look for short positions here. And what I did back here is I looked for a long position. That's the wrong thing to do. I need to take a short position down here. Now, what else did I say previously about when you break your delta? If you get two lows, you immediately look for what? You look for divergences. Here's a low that took place after I closed my trade. Here's a low that took place during my trade. Do I have a divergence? I have looks like a hidden divergence. Here's a low, right? Here's a low on the RSI and a lower low. This is a hidden divergence because this one does not break outside of the algo. This one does break outside the algo. So this move is pretty much over and it's going to start moving back to the upside. It's what I'm seeing. So let me play this out. Go, nope, that's not what I want. I want this. There and here. So now price starts moving back up. See how it's just flatlining right here? It's just hanging on to this area and then it starts moving back up. So there was a divergence beginning. Now you have no more of a hidden divergence. You have an actual divergence. You have a low and a low. And you most likely have a divergence right here. Let's see. There. Here's a low, super low. Here's a low, higher low. It's just drawing it out for you. You just need to know which side of your delta you need to be on to understand where you look for your divergences. That's it. Now, you'll also notice something else with the algo versus the delta area. What I want you to do is I want you to look at here. Look at what's happening with your moving average and your algo and your Heikin Ashi prices, right? Heikin Ashi candles, okay? You see that it breaks below here and price is breaking away from your moving average, okay? You retest here. It comes in and it retests the moving average. Price breaks below and it's far away. Price breaks below and it's far away. It's outside the range. It's outside the range of the algo. Then price starts to get real close to the range. What's happening here? The bars are green, right? And it's touching this delta area, okay? Bars are green, and they start touching this green area. Green bars, green line, green bars, green line. This is painting out a version of your Heikin Ashi algo on your chart, and it keeps shifting it around to let you know, are you in an uptrend or are you in a downtrend? Now, while your bars here are green and they are above your moving average, you still have delta in your way, so you cannot take long trades. Remember, I said below red delta, you're looking for shorts. Above green delta, you're looking for longs, right? Now, let's see if price does something nice for us. Moves to the upside, maybe. Yep, moving to the upside, right? There we go. Now, what we have here is a difference in the RSI. You're going to see a lot of rejection off of this area. It's going to keep rejecting this and keep pushing to the upside until it breaks through the delta area. Now, delta area needs to move, or the green one needs to move down. Here we go. There. Now, it's broken above it and says exit long. Why? Because you probably have a divergence or an engulfing candle, and your divergence says get out here. It says get out here, but your divergence ends up being right here. So you would have had to exit and then wait for a break above your, there we go, perfect. Now you see that your green delta area started right here. There, green delta started right here. And right here you were having trouble getting out of your algo. Then you got a new green delta, starts here, right there. You break above the average RSI. Right there. Again, above. You're breaking above that range. So you stay in this trade. But every time, like I said, every single time that you break above your green or below your red, you start looking for divergences, right? Now, here you have a high and a lower high. Here's a high and a higher high. I'm looking at price is going to go up just a little bit more, and then it's going to fade off. Let's see. Here's a low close and a low close. And I'm thinking right after that trend. Let's see. There. Let's see if it drops off. Yep, drops below delta immediately at that trend line. Immediately at that trend line, it dropped below. Now your stop loss is above your price. Do we have a sudden drop off here? Let's see. Now, again, we have a high and a high. We have a high and a similar high. For me, this is not enough to be a move to the upside. I wouldn't take this. I would expect it to fall at this point. Kind of stuck. There we go. Now you broke above again. You have a high and a lower high. This is a divergence. Here comes your fall. Right there. All right, people. That's it. Watch for those divergences. When you get a nice divergence, you know you can exit that trade immediately and you get out before. You get out before. Look, it even told you exit your trade, and then the divergence just knocked you out. So you would get out before you end up having a colossal move against you. Like this would have been really bad. You would have entered here and lost everything. Like if you entered here, you would have lost everything. It would have just taken everybody out. That's a bull trap right there. All right, peeps. That's it for tonight.